Good morning, everyone. Lots going on as usual. Today is Saturday, August 30th, 2025, Labor Day weekend. And often I talk about how they'll bury news stories on a Friday night. It's a Friday night news dump, right? And the best time to do it is on a long weekend Friday, and often by Monday, something else has taken over the news cycle. And so they don't have to deal with anything they really drop on these Friday nights. And so a long weekend is a perfect time to do news dumps. So who comes out with a digital ID? Alberta, of course, right? What's your game, Danielle Smith? Digital ID edition. And so we'll examine that. I think we're going to start. No, we're not going to start there. That'll be our second story today. Trump's tariffs are illegal, but Trump says, don't worry, everybody. The tariffs are still in effect. I'm going to quash this judge. No worries, they're still on. So he's told everybody, carry on. But apparently there's a activist judge, who says, no, these are illegal. You can't do that, sir. And so that's interesting. It'll be interesting to watch how this all plays out. 2022 groceries compared to 2024 groceries, they've tripled in price. And there's a guy who says that that's just corporate greed. I'm inclined to agree with him. He says there's no way the farming and transport has tripled in the last 2 years. It just hasn't happened. So yeah, possibly. Order of Canada revoked. I think it's a red herring or a distraction because, hey, have you noticed the invasion of Canada? I have. Other people have. England's fighting it. We'll talk about England as well. And Major Projects Office. We're going to start with the Major Projects Office. Do you know that we've had a Major Projects Office for a while? This is a new Major Projects Office with a new bureaucratic setup, and the bureaucratic setup is borrowed from Brookfield. Carney's importing some friends to make sure that this whole venture is, well, maximized. The opportunity is maximized financially, right? So there's lots to get to. Let's get to it first. Marty up north says more government bureaucracy is not what we need. So this is the Major Projects Office, and this is the announcement. It says, in a rapidly shifting global landscape, we need to act decisively to build a stronger, more competitive and prosperous economy. To those ends, the government tabled the Building Canada Act, which Parliament passed this June. This legislation enables the government to streamline federal approval processes to get major projects built faster. These projects, including ports, railways, energy corridors, critical minerals, blah, 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 will connect our economy, diversify our industries, access new markets, and create high-paying careers while protecting Canada's rigorous environmental standards. Today, the Prime Minister launched the new Major Projects Office, MPO. But we already had one. So this is the MPO, Major Projects Office. And hilariously, if you try and go to the homepage, it took me to a 404 last time I tried. Okay, well, there's the homepage, I guess. Building big projects, blah, blah, blah. But here's the older one, Major Projects Management Office. And this is underneath the CER, what is this? CER energy stuff. And so the Canada Energy Regulator has a Major Projects Management Office, which is now mirrored. It's like they just upgraded this office to everything and to be its own standalone office, but ignored the fact that it's already existing in the CER infrastructure. So we've already got this. So it's duplicated. And apparently, and I haven't found the date that this was stood up. It's been around since at least 2023. So this page was modified in 2023. And at least other people are saying 2007, but I haven't been able to verify that. So here's the Major Project Office inventory. So Major Projects inventory. We already have an infrastructure for this, for people to coordinate and centralize and facilitate these projects. What? Holy cow, color me shocked. We're doubling up bureaucracy? No. What's better than two of exactly the same thing for twice the price, right? That's redundancies for no reason at all. This is the major projects inventory from the energy sector one. Natural Resources Canada Major Projects Inventory, published annually, provides a snapshot of major natural resource projects in Canada that are either currently under construction or are planned within the next 10 years. The inventory includes major projects that increase, extend, or improve natural resource production in Canada, including new extraction projects, infrastructure projects, major processing facilities, and large expansion projects. In addition, the inventory includes information on the value, timing, and geographic location of the projects. To be included in the inventory, the projects in the energy and mining sectors must meet a minimum capital worth threshold of $50 million, and electricity and forest sector projects must meet a threshold of $20 million. Also included in the inventory are clean energy and clean technology projects, which must meet a minimum capital worth threshold of $10 million. And then so here's a list, and I thought it was interesting. The lists kind of it stops at 2024, but there's a bunch of projects. It's 2016 to 2026, 2017 to 2027, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There's just like a PDF for each one. And so it just stopped in 24. We haven't seen one from 25, but we haven't got a budget either. So what's going on here? And there's a map, and I think I've got this map. Yeah, so there's the map, and there's the legend for the map. So there's mining projects, and you can hover over it. It was hovering before. I was able to get information on the projects by interacting with the mouse here, but like it's got all of these projects. Wouldn't energy corridors, like these are energy, 10 to 999 million under construction, 5 billion, more than 5 billion under construction. So we've got a couple of energy projects that are under construction, more than $5 billion, right? Alberta, a couple in Ontario, a couple in BC, or one in BC, a couple others that are smaller energy projects. Pipelines don't fall into this. Major Canadian projects don't fall into this. Why did we need to stand up this whole new bureaucracy in order to have essentially what we have in the under the energy sector duplicated? Why did we need that? It seems like a huge waste of money, waste of time. It doesn't seem like something that we need, right? And yet here we are, being forced to pay for it. Here's the chief executive officer. Her name is Dawn Farrell. And there are people who are saying that Dawn Farrell it was Friends of Science who pointed out that the major projects infrastructure already existed. The bureaucracy is already there. Anyway, back to Dawn Farrell. Bradshaw says that didn't take long to find a connection with Dawn Farrell in Brookfield. So the Prime Minister is pleased to announce the appointment of Dawn Farrell to spearhead this mission as the Chief Executive Officer of the Major Projects Office. But Dawn Farrell was the Power Utility Transatlantic Corporation CEO, and they investigated other options before signing a $750 million investment deal with Brookfield Renewable Partners, and there's no reason to seek to cancel it, says the CEO. So, lateral move. Just, she's a CEO. Now she's a CEO for Carney. And nothing to see there, right? Absolutely nothing to see there. Isn't it interesting, though, right? Do you find that reassuring or concerning? I think concerning personally. I have questions, and these conflict of interests, these shields, these screens, Brookfield keeps popping up, Carney's past keeps popping up, and not in a way that makes me think, this is gonna be helpful in this negotiation, or his history with this world leader is going to be helpful in this situation. None of that. It's all like, oh, crap. It seems like we're getting robbed, and we're tied up in the upstairs bedroom, right? Like, Arthur, let's talk about digital IDs and Vancouver, and Alberta. They waited till the Friday of the long weekend I think this happened yesterday. People were posting this yesterday, so I think this happened yesterday. And Arthur says, Nova Scotia, with a proposed under 16 social media ban, which I reported on this week, will usher in ID and age verification, and now Alberta is pushing digital ID. Danielle Smith is a Trojan horse for digital enslavement. Prove me wrong. P.S. Digital health movement in all provinces is driven by federal money sent to provinces. Yep. So Danielle Smith, what's your game, Danielle Smith? Why are you selling out your citizens to a digital ID that's totally optional until it's not anymore, right? Like, I don't know about that. Here's Danielle Smith.
Called the Alberta Wallet, and it's designed to let you carry and manage government-issued documents on your mobile devices. The new mobile health card is the first of its kind in Canada, and you can show it or scan it at hospitals and clinics as proof of health insurance coverage in Alberta.
In the future, the wallet could include other documents like marriage or birth certificates, high school or post-secondary transcripts, journeyman or trade certificates, and much more. I'm proud to have worked with Minister LaGrange on the Mobile Health Card Initiative, and I'm looking forward to sharing more of the things that we will be adding to the Alberta Wallet to solidify Alberta as the most innovative jurisdiction in Canada.
Hi, Matt Skates, Canadian Press. On the app announcement today, you mentioned steps that are being taken to ensure personal information is safe. Can you give some background on how this was developed, who was involved in developing this?
Let me turn that over to Minister Glubish, who was our lead.
Thanks.
Sure. Thank you for the question. So we led the development of the wallet in the core infrastructure that will be the repository for these government-issued documents. And then we partnered with Minister Lagrange's department on the issuance of the mobile health card into that wallet. So we've built the standards and the security and the encryption and all of the systems that these that these government documents will be issued in accordance with. It is all in alignment with our world-class privacy legislation and protections in this province. For me, it was as simple as this. If we are going to give a tool like this to Albertans to use, I want to make sure it's something that I'm comfortable using, and I want to make sure that there's no chance that that anybody can see how I'm using this card, using this wallet. That's up to me. And so that's what I'm confident that I can tell to Albertans is that you are in control of how you use this. Government can't see how you use this. We are simply there in the same way that today our job is to issue a paper card to prove that you are an insured Albertan to have access to the healthcare system. Now we also can offer a mobile option to say we will issue you that same proof that goes into your mobile phone that you can show and interact with the healthcare system.
Great, thank you. Question for the Premier. Just circling back on the books that were released by Edmonton Public School yesterday.
So that, moving on to a different situation. Here is John Paul. He says they're all in on it. This is really happening. Wake up. Now, the problem in my mind with a digital ID like that is that code could be changed. Maybe this version of the app is totally blind to how you're using it. Maybe this version of the app is what he says it is. But in the future, that can be changed. People know how to code, right? If the code base is Python or whatever they used to code it, whatever they used it to code the app, somebody can come in and change the rules of the app and say an update's been pushed, and now the only one that works is this one. The only one that you can access this is this way. And so that's concerning to me. It's a slippery slope. And even though perhaps you have good intentions, although I'm hesitant to believe it, it can be turned against the citizens who believe those people who have good intentions by people who don't have good intentions. So this guy leaves, ages out, whatever it is, and the next government comes in and he's not to blame. And he says, well, I didn't do that. That's not me. That's them. Right. And so like, yeah, but you paved the pathway. You allowed them to get here. Right. So it's like in Terminator when they go they go try and kill, what's his name? Dyson? I can't remember his name, but they go try and take him out because he was the guy who had the innovation. And he said, no, it wasn't me. I just had the arm. Right. So, and he was the one who unlocked it. But I don't know, man, we shouldn't go down this path. This is a bad idea. And Danielle Smith and Alberta is leading the way. They break the difficult communities first. They go into the difficult places to like, oh, you'll never get that there. You'll never get a prayer ban in Quebec. They're far too religious, right? Well, we'll see after all their roadways get blocked by these Islamic prayers, then we'll get a prayer ban, right? And so it seems like we are being pushed, and it seems like they break the places that seem challenging first, and that'll make the rest seem super easy. Everybody will just fall in line, right? And well, we didn't for COVID. We said no, and then we said no again emphatically, and then we said no again more forcefully, right? And so here is YEG Wave, and they say Alberta is set to phase out its paper health cards, replacing them with a digital option called the Alberta Wallet. Premier Smith said the app will let residents access their health cards from their phones, ending the province's reliance on the decades-old paper version. Alberta is currently the only province still using paper health cards. Alongside the app, the government plans to roll out a new plastic card next year that will combine health and driver's license information. I'm not allowed to use my health card as ID, but I can use my driver's license as ID. What happens when you combine health and driver's license? Use the app, and then you can just give them the information you want, right? Like they're gonna make it inconvenient in the same way that you're sold like a package, and you could get the base package, which is like $10, or you could get the popular package, which is just a bit more, and you get all the things, but they purposely make that base package not include things that you need, so you upgrade. And they'll do that. They'll make it uncomfortable for you to use your card thing so that you upgrade to the digital ID. That's how they'll push you. And it's a nudge. It's a behavioral nudge. It's the same way that they want you to, that they will bully you into using the masks and things like that. The voice of reason responds to this, and he says, digital ID, the end of privacy. Nope, I won't be complying. Me either. Thank you very much, but no, I won't be digitizing anything. Not for the government. Nate says, I understand your skepticism. This is the guy who created the app. Okay, so this is the MP, and he's trying to do damage control, I guess, here. This is from this morning at 2:37 a.m., so always working. He says, I understand your skepticism. Nobody wants a Chinese government-style social credit system. There are people who do want that, Nate. There are, and we need to protect ourselves against them, because it seems like you don't know that. That's why he continues, I designed the Alberta wallet so that nobody can track when, where, or how you use it. I designed it so that your information cannot be accessed or shared without your consent. And most important, it's always optional, never mandatory. Oh my gosh. Until the next government comes in and makes the change that it's now mandatory, because we don't want to, it's really expensive to keep a card updated, and it's not so expensive to keep an app updated. So we're going to just stop supporting the card. So you can't use the card anymore. And the excuse will be accepted by the public. It's a slippery slope. And I said, you wrote the code, right, Nate? What's the code base? Can code be changed? Like if a new government came in and wanted to change it for our safety, could it be changed? Come on my show to talk about it. So the invitation is there. I haven't heard back yet. We'll see. If I get him to come on and talk about it, I'll ask him. Here is what could possibly go wrong. Techno tyranny that is way, way worse than the Soviet Union. This guy goes through and he says, this is the WEF's top advisor. Lots of people, Yuval Harari, and he is transhumanist guy, true believer of the WEF thing. He's like, the only way to run the world is the way you'll own nothing and be happy, the WEF way, right? Like, that's it. So I think he's advocating for this, but he's saying, listen, like the Soviet Union didn't have anything on this system that we've built now. Like this system that we built now, whoo, boy, those Soviet guys would love to have this. So that's terrifying. Here we go.
System is basically an expansion of money, or a new kind of money.
The social credit system is an expansion of money by monetizing everything.
You know, when you think about traditional money, gold coins, dollars, even bitcoins, they give value only to specific parts of human reality.
Right.
Some things you do, like you work, you gain money, you want to buy airline ticket, you pay money, but other things, you go visit your friends, you go visit your grandmother, even you throw trash in the street. Mm-hmm. This is no monetary value. The idea
Who throws trash in the street?
of the social credit is to monetize everything, to give value to every single thing you do in life. And this is your score. Mm-hmm. So even things that traditionally were not about money, they're about reputation or status. Suddenly you get precise points for them. And also anything you want to do, you need to use your social credit for it. So again, it has positive potential in some regards. Mm-hmm. It could create the most totalitarian, again, systems in history, where anything you do impacts your ability to get a job, to gain a loan, to travel. And in a way, you see this not only in China, you see it all over the world, also in the US. This because it's a function of surveillance, that traditionally only some areas of life were monitored and surveyed. And even in dictatorships, there was privacy. Mm-hmm. If you live in the Soviet Union, so the KGB can't follow you around all the time. They just don't have enough agents.
Right. They tried, but
they try, but you have 200 million Soviet citizens. Mm-hmm. They don't have 200 million agents. Now you can monitor everybody all the time. You don't need human agents or analysts. You have the computers, smartphones, cameras, drones, microphones everywhere, and you have the AIs analyzing all the ocean of information. So this creates the potential for total surveillance. And it can take the form of the social credit system.
Total surveillance through social credit system. Don't worry, it's not mandatory yet. Not mandatory yet. Yesterday, I was telling you about the solar panels in Germany. They were pushing for this. They were saying they had incentives for this. And now the people have moved to it. Now they're saying, well, you have to pay a sun tax. You have to pay a sun tax for this. So I don't know, man. The whole thing is pretty wild. Resist CBDC says, you think you hate Tony Blair enough, but you don't because you can't. So Tony Blair says, bring in digital IDs to get tough on populism. The former Labour Prime Minister who backs identity technology systems and facial recognition believes the public will gladly sacrifice privacy for efficiency. Ah, yes, the efficiency of the government. I'm from the government and I'm here to help. Sure you are. I just don't believe you. News, Rachel Thomas says the Liberals accidentally deleted the privacy clause from the Online Streaming Act, leaving Canadians' data vulnerable to big corporations. If this really was a mistake, which it was not, the Ministry Guilbeault must table corrective legislation on the very first day the House resumes. Canadians' privacy is non-negotiable. It wasn't a mistake, and he will not table anything. And we're goldfish, so we'll forget. Remind me in the new sitting, when nobody talks about this, that we've got to talk about this. I hope it'll jump up again. Given the importance of privacy, it's the type of mistake that just can't happen and which needs to be fixed as soon as possible. At the end of the show, I've got a whole segment where a doctor is calling out the View women, and they're saying one type of politicization of science is okay, but other kinds of politicization of science are not okay. And there's a doctor who stands his ground and just... There's a clip that says that I was going to show with it that had a girl saying, "I'm not a baby," and the boy saying, "But you're wearing a diaper." And she says, "Diapers wear babies, and I'm not a baby." And he says, "But you're wearing a diaper." And it reminded me of that clip. And I think it's really kind of not tangential, but I think that it relates to what's going on. And I can't explain how exactly right now, but I'll show it. And it's very interesting. So everybody on the stream, thanks for watching. Go over to CanadaPoly.com if you want to catch the whole show. And if not, that's fine. We'll catch you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And for everybody else, I'll end the stream. Yesterday, I was streaming for all day. It had me live all day for some reason, and I don't know why, just on YouTube. And it was an odd thing. And I couldn't turn off the stream because I had already turned off the stream, so I didn't know what was going on. It was a weird thing. Anyway, Wide Awake Media is talking about, this is our grab bag of governance, but this is the money edition, and this is the doubling of our grocery bills in the last year, 2 years, and that doesn't seem to make rational